the chat. Go ahead and start dropping them in on the chat because we're going today's Q&A today. It's not anything, not going to be quote unquote necessarily going over any specific lesson. It's just you have questions, I'm here to answer them. And I'm going to go through the group and see if anybody had any questions they posted, that sort of thing. So let's see here. Okay. Let's be letting everybody in. All right, start dropping your questions. Drop your questions. Drop your questions because I'm going to go through it, okay? All right. Is quantum useful in local businesses? Yes. If I was rated between 1 and 10, a 10. I wouldn't use any other thing. I haven't found any other press releases, and I've used quite a few of them to be even worth it. Most other press releases, when you do them, they might last 30 days. Might. If you're lucky, you'll get one that might last 60 days. The higher paid ones. Quantum lasts at least, when you do a press release, at least 6 months. All right, good morning. Breakfast time downtown Manila. I'm suppose you're probably eating good, Jeff, like usual. See questions. How can we do CTR effectively for a very low cost? Do you have an agency, Atif, or no? So with CTR, for example, anybody I white label with, they all get CTR. So, versus if you were to pay Michael for his system, it costs, I believe, $600 a month for the lowest end package, I believe. And I give it to all my clients. If we don't see movement in the third month, then I start doing CTR. That's one way. I go over, there's another course I have called on 5D Bootcamp on CTR manipulation. Also in the ebook, I go over different forms of CTR manipulation because there's various forms of CTR, and I will be going over CTR manipulation and how to use it in this course, just at a different time. We're at the beginning. We're only on week 2, so it's not, we're not even there yet, but we will be going through it, okay? There are things like redirects on call to action buttons. There's redirects on phone numbers, different things that you can do to direct people to your GMB that would affect CTR. Okay. Quantum will help you rank it even if you're not an agency. They're just coming out and just released, I believe, where they're going on the pay-as-you-go type plan. At one point, you start going after higher keyword density keywords. So, for example, I'm going to show you all let me pull it up. I almost got the sod installation website ready. We installed all the content because we're going to be going over that this week coming up. We're still polishing it up on content. I got to make the guy logo and every other thing. So most people will only go after, let's say, sod services or sod installation, and that's it. The problem with doing that is they're focused only on one keyword, and it's going to be very difficult if all you do is focus on that keyword. When you start focusing on long tail keywords like these, or facts or questions about sod and things that people are actually asking that has buyer intent, what will happen, you're going to find, is your rankings will actually rise, if you will. You know how cream rises to the top? Your short tail keyword, or your, if you will, the one with the higher keyword density, or if you have the one with the higher search volume, that one will rise naturally and rank naturally. When you start producing content like we have on this site, where I literally have at least probably 50,000 words of content, right? When you just focus on one keyword, you're not going to rank that fast, in my humble opinion. I've just found when you do long tail buyer intent keywords, like when someone just goes sod installation, they're not really even looking to purchase sod for the most part. When someone goes, how many pieces of sod are on a pallet, they're looking to buy sod. They've already discovered sod. They already know about it. They're ready to buy it, and they've already measured their yard probably. So the person that actually comes to your site via that keyword is going to purchase. So that's why we want high intent keywords. I even posted this in the group from a friend of mine, and I don't use, neither does he, too much, a whole lot of these quote unquote, if you will, tools that tell you, well, the keyword, the KD is this and the difficulty is this and all this other crap, because for the most part, I just use that when I'm first setting up a site like I am now. But once it's already set up and everything, I don't really even use it. I use mainly Google Search Console. So I'll go into Google and find out what is everybody freaking, searching for when it comes to sod installation in St. Louis. And I'll sit there and go, okay, what other questions that Google, this is what I say all the time, Google's telling you exactly what people are searching for, right? You see right here where it says people also ask all these questions, right? So I want my content that I'm going to write to be about the questions Google is telling me people are also asking. Also, related searches, right? So that's what I'm going to make my, if you will, my whole website surround. Because this is what people are searching for when they're looking to purchase. Okay. Going through some more of these. So hopefully that answers your question. But basically, when the long tail keywords start rising in rankings, it pushes your main one up, especially if you have it properly siloed, your content being siloed. Your content being siloed, in other words, for example, on our homepage, you saw home services, our sod, tips and guide, blog, facts, contact us. Those are your main pillars, and then all the other content siloed underneath of it. And then even our blogs, we're going to have them siloed underneath of those. So, and everything is interconnected and interlinked. And you're going to see how fast does this site rank and the GMB rank without even doing any external backlinking. Okay. And this is in St. Louis, and I know there's tons of different people that do sod there, and I know it's a heavy industry in lawn care. So it's not like it's not a competitive niche. It is a competitive niche. At what point do you, what package of conversion AI is better? I use Boss. I use the Boss one, and here's why. So for example, we're going to show you some conversion AI, because I did have someone request this too. So let's go into conversion AI. So how do I go about writing content? Let's say I wanted to write in this question. Let's say I was going to write about buffalo grass sod, right? And you have various different templates. I use long form. You can start from scratch if you wanted to, but that's not how I do anything. I first create several pieces, right?
Well, can you share your screen?
Yep, it is sharing. That's funny. Where are you looking at? You see black sky or you see conversion?
I got it now. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. So there's a couple of ways I write content. Most people that say conversion AI does not work are not, in my humble opinion, using it correctly. So if I'm going to write about buffalo sod or buffalo grass sod, the first thing I'm going to do is do a blog post intro paragraph, right? And I want it to be about you know, I want to be in St. Louis or in St. Louis. All right. What's my audience? My audience is homeowners. And it's going to be professional, you know. Generate AI content. I'm going to generate, let's say, 3 pieces of content. See which one I like the best. This is, I mean, we do this, if you will, quite often. So here's one. Buffalo grass is an amazing grass. It grows prolifically, thrives in full sun or partial shade, blah, 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 blah. So this is an introduction paragraph, right? Let's say we grab this one, and most people will be like, well, for instance, conversion AI doesn't work. Well, the problem is most people think you're not going to have to do any work even after having conversion AI, because for some reason, sometimes they'll pull the phone number for another business or something in here. You're of course going to have to edit it. You're not just going to create it and then go away, and it's never going, you're not going to have to put any input into it. Next thing I do a blog post outline. Right? Blog post outline. The blog post outline is going to give me what am I going to write about? Right? And this is going to be professional, or we could do marketing. You should see the one where you choose tone of voice is drunk. If you want to do some funny stuff, just put in drunk and it'll make some. He's like, you know, if you're like me, you've probably never even touched your GMB because you're too damn lazy. It says all types of crap. So like it just gave me a blog outline. Buffalo grass sod is low maintenance for number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. So I then copy this. And if you see where I'm taking it, I'm putting it on Notepad, okay? All right. Now I have my blog post outline. Next, I'm going to go to my conclusion and be the very last thing I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to go to my long form assistant, hit start from scratch. You can hit start from scratch if you wanted to. And you have this framework, you have this framework, you have all, I mean, just tons of different things you can do, right? We're going to go to templates. You can go to long form assistant. You can go to blog post workflow. Okay. And it creates different things for you. So let's say, for example, you wanted to actually not do it the way I showed you to, you can come in here and it will actually create a lot of this for you. The title, the intro paragraph, everything like that, right? So one of the things you can do, you can take a content improver, right? Content improver. This is one way of doing it. It's one of the ways I do it. Take my first bullet point, which was buffalo grass sod is low maintenance, right? And I'm going to make this into professional. And then I hit generate content. Buffalo sod, you know, and it's talking about, for instance, this one right here. Let's go ahead and pull it. So, and I hit generate AI content. That's going to be my first header, if you will, the first bullet point, which is buffalo grass sod is low maintenance lawn for those who don't blah, 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 blah. Right? And then I take that and I literally paste it underneath my first bullet point. My second bullet point is this one. And I take that and I copy it and I paste it in there. And then after I do that, it's going to spit out more content for me, right? And then I take that. So this is what I'm doing. You have, this is your main content. Then this is the intro paragraph. This is bullet point 1. This is the content it just wrote. Then here's bullet point 2. And I literally do this all the way down, and I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this so y'all can see about how long it takes to produce this, okay? Because I have people all the time say, "What, I can't do it," or "it takes too long," or "it doesn't do good enough content." Just follow what I'm showing you. So intro paragraph, bullet points, and then after my bullet points, I come in here with the bullet points and I start creating, if you will, content improver is what I use personally. And there are other people in here that are in the group that do different methods. Dave, I know he has his own method. But this is what works for me and what works for my team. So this is what we do. Give me this. After this one, we only got 2 more, and I'll show you about how long this is. And then number 5 bullet point. The next step after you actually do this is then to go in and clean it up. Make sure it looks good. Make sure the writing is good and all that jazz, right? Not just copy and paste. A lot of times people will say it don't work because they're just copying and pasting, and then they wonder why things aren't done right. You know, Jarvis is, doing his best and he's here to help you, but he's not to do your job for you. You're still going to have your VA or yourself clean it up. But overall, if I was to do this, for instance, me actually researching, me actually typing all this out, it's going to be a hell of a lot longer time period than what we just did. Okay, we're done with all 6 bullet points. Now we go to conclusion paragraph. What was the main points of our outline of our blog post, right? Our main points are going to be buffalo grass is low maintenance lawn, right? What's the call to action? It's going to be, in this case, let's say, give us a call today or contact us, that sort of thing. And you're going to go call us today to schedule your sod installation estimate. All right, tone of voice is going to be professional. And we hit generate AI, and it's going to make okay, it's telling me to slow down. Apparently I'm going too fast. Sometimes they'll tell you that because, especially with me, we have 4 other VAs writing content. We produce about 6.5 million words of content per week. Conclusion paragraph, buffalo, and then you choose this one. If you're looking for low maintenance, blah, 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 and it gives a phone number, you can change this phone number over to your own. So let's say we take this content, and I'm going to put it in Word for you. We can polish it up and all that after we're done. But let's go through this. So buffalo, this is the title, would be right here, whatever we're going to call it. So buffalo grass is amazing grass. It grows prolifically, thrives in full sun and partial shade, blah, 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 blah. I would take this as well as go through Grammarly. And you want to take it in Grammarly and make sure everything looks good and is not, junk, if you will, because I suck when it comes to grammar. You want to make sure it's all correct. This is number 2. This is your bullet point. Just what I do. I also would make these in a header 1, header 2s, like the title will be a header 1. This would be a header 2. These different things is what you're going to wind up doing. Okay. Heading 2, however you want to do it. But basically you go through here, you're going to edit it. Once you edit it and make all these headers, now, for instance, instead of this is how we get our long tail content. So for example, I'm going to start probably ranking for the keywords like this: buffalo sod is low maintenance, and all these various keywords. Now let's see how long it took us. 10 minutes? Let's say 10, 15 minutes to write all that. And how many words is it? It's 917 words, took us 10 minutes. Okay. So that's how we're going to wind up using conversion AI to write. And if you go through, it's like bullet point 1 is buffalo sod is low maintenance lawn for those who don't have time to water or mow. And it goes on. It says the low maintenance qualities of buffalo grass sod makes a perfect option for those who want to spend less time maintaining their lawn. Buffalo grass is a popular choice due to its drought resistant nature. And point 2, it's also drought tolerant, requires less fertilizer than grasses. This type of grass is tough and resilient. For those people who want to enjoy their yard all year long without having to worry about constant watering, this option is perfect for you. So whenever I've used conversion AI, it produces good stuff. It's not that it's producing junk. Number 4, there are many benefits of adding buffalo grass to your sod or your yard, from lowered risk of disease to lower power bills from watering and fertilizer. You can grow your own food in a sustainable way if you choose permaculture. And he goes on talking about pesticides, herbicides, environment, and stuff. But it's a good piece of content. Took us 10 minutes, okay, to do that. So that's how I'd wind up writing my content. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put that in the back end of the group, but that's conversion AI. And what I'm going to do, what we did, give me 1 second, go back up here because I got lots of questions coming in. So that's conversion AI. So that's how we're writing our content. Step 1 is going to be what's your title. Step 2 is going to be, you know, your intro paragraph. Step 3 is your blog post. And then you start using content improver to make the paragraphs. And then the final step is your conclusion paragraph. Let's go through this. Patrick, any questions related to quantum? Just make sure to ask them to Lane in the back end, okay? That's what I personally would do. So he's going to be able to answer any questions you have related to pricing or usage. What package of conversion AI use? Boss, just showed you that. Let's see what else. What do we use a link daddy versus? I would use Quantum before anything. Any links, anything, because it's much more powerful in my opinion. Mike, I use both. They're for different things. Like for instance, on a brand new site, I'm not going to go get a bunch of really strong links from Link Daddy and Tony and put them on a brand new site and then watch my rankings crash. I can generally take a brand new site, put awesome content on it, and my rankings are going to soar. Let's see. We have multiple sites ranking 1 just using Quantum. Correct. Your sole freelancer. Can Quantum be used for a restaurant client? Any type of client. William, on one of the calls, you talked about how one of your GMBs got taken down when you changed the name. Nope, it wasn't when I changed the name. What happened was when I changed the URL or the website. We changed the URL for the website. It got taken down. And then whenever we needed to get it back up, all I needed was their DBA. You get what we call a reinstatement. You get what we call is a reinstatement form with Google. And if you've never got one of these emails, you know, I'll show you, but basically it tells you, hey, you need to send in a reinstatement request. And you send in the reinstatement request, and once you fill out that form, one of the very things it's going to ask you is, give me 1 second, it's going to say, is it a service area business? Is your main address the same as on your GMB? Is your business name the same as on your GMB? And then they're going to ask for proof. The proof that you need is a DBA or business license or bill that has your name as it is on your GMB and your address as it is on your GMB. And this is where people get screwed up because they go, well, you shouldn't be using your keywords in your title Well, that's only true if you don't have a DBA. Okay. If you have the DBA, then you can use it. And that's where people screw up a lot of times. The reinstatement form, I'll put that on another, on another show we'll do, and we'll go walk through the actual reinstatement and everything and how you do it. It's just a simple form. I ask you some questions, and you fill it out. Okay. I can look for it if you want. Let's go to my Gmail. And I'll get them, and I have clients that want me to fix their stuff all the time about, and I charge them. I mean, just on reinstatements alone, I'll charge $250 just for a reinstatement, and people pay it. So, this is what the email looks like whenever you get a suspension. It's not one you want to see. This is a garage door, which is a very spammy niche. Your business profile has been suspended. You'll fill out this reinstatement form. It asks you, for example, have you already submitted the reinstatement form? Yes or no? Because if you have, they don't want you filling it out again. So you say, no, I haven't. Are you official representative of the company? Yes, I am. Did you read our terms of service? Yes, and I don't care. Is your organization permanently located at the address? Yes. Have you entered an accurate street address? Yes. And we don't do PO boxes. This is why I tell people don't do PO boxes. It says it freaking right there. Yes, I've done that. Does your business operate in a service area? In other words, no, I'm not a service area. And you can put yes, it doesn't affect it. Do you have multiple profiles at the same location? No, I don't do that. Then submit your reinstatement. What's your name? What's your email address? What's the name of the business? What's the address of the business? What's this business link? When I go to info, I copy and paste it in here. It gives you a little walkthrough on how to do it. What's my phone number? Use the phone number of the business, not your own phone number. The phone number of the business, not your own phone number. Then
Do
you
you
can
use a profile name or sorry?
No, you use your own actual name. You do
So you put William Jones in there?
Yep, exactly as it tells you to do.
All right, thanks.
Yep. When it says choose file, this is where you want to upload your DBA, your license, or a utility bill. The utility bill, DBA, or license needs to have the same exact business name as is on the GMB along with the address. Then you hit submit. Anytime I have a DBA, I have everything I teach everybody in this class. And when people ask for my advice, DBA, and every single time I've ever done it, they always get reinstated. Never have I had one not get reinstated. It's just a matter of actually following directions. Now, if you do not have a utility bill, we do have a little something called Adobe Photoshop. I'm not going to tell you to do that on a government document like a DBA, but whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Okay. Let's see. Let's go through some more of these things. What would I charge for a quantum press release for my students? Well, it cost me $10 to do a press release. And then if I had to write it for you, if it's 1,500 words, it's $150. If you're providing it, then I would at least charge you a minimum of 20 to do the press release. And when we do the press releases, I prefer 2,500 words because the one I'm on, I actually can go up to 2,500 words on my press release. And then when we build them out, it actually has pictures, videos, and a bunch of other stuff, call to action buttons inside of our press release, everything. So I pimp my press releases out. How can we rank annual boiler service in London? I'm pretty sure we just went over this. Yep, Atif, I just went over that in a video for you. So if you just wanted to rank annual boiler server, then I would do a strategy where all I'm doing is going for annual boiler service in London. And I already went through that on that live with you as well. So same as content, siloing your content, your posts on GMB, how do you have how do you have it optimized, etc. How do you get a local guide account to power it up to 8 or 10? Since y'all keep asking me this, I'm gonna have to show y'all in a separate class because it's not something I can do in 5 minutes. But there is a way to do it. Local guides are very powerful. You have to have them and then you have to use them. It's a matter of, for instance, you can take a regular account and make it a local guide account. It's just a matter of actually using it to write reviews of places, upload photos. And the more you do that, the higher your guide account keeps going up. Okay. Your edits, editing businesses, that counts toward your local guides, everything. I have 4 GMBs for the Gemma says I have 4 GMBs for the same business, but different addresses. Would I suggest different posts for each GMB? Yes. Separate GMB information, separate post information, separate name, address, phone number information. Everything's separate. Another question, adding in posts and pics daily to my GMB, adding lots of more content to my website. When you expect, takes about, when you're talking about content on your website, from what I've seen, about 30,000 words of content, 20 to 30,000 words of content, Google starts paying attention. That's why I'm going to show you, for instance, with this sod. Yeah, if we look at how many pages I have an extreme amount of pages. It's, the home page is 1,500 words. Then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I got blogs as well. So I got about 30 to 40 pages already, all of which have 1,500 words. So you're looking at minimum this site has is 30,000 words of content. All right. If you start doing the GMB posts and then you start doing the quantum press releases, and even better, if you start uploading images from the area that your business is at, or if you're a Saab area business, even better, your rankings will increase. And George has posted this time and time again in the group as well. Thank you, George.
That's more content than a lot of affiliate sites will even have on them.
Yep. And when people wonder why they don't rank, it's one word: laziness. It's not a matter of, it's not a secret formula where it's like, I need this really strong backlink because, SEMrush and Ahrefs, they tell me my backlinks suck or whatever. It has nothing to do with that, does it? It has to do with content. What type of content? Are you using buyer intent content? There's different things you got to look at, and people just don't. Overall, it's just laziness, in my opinion. And I even tell people all the time why most people don't rank. If I look at a GMB, you'd be surprised how many admins of these freaking Google My Business groups do not even have, and they have agencies, do not even have GMBs. And then the ones that do not even have them optimized. Or you'll see them on a business and they want to rank, but their GMB is not optimized. Then their page, the website's not optimized. They don't even have the technical SEO done. They don't have the structural structural SEO done. They don't have the content done. So a lot of people will say, well, I want to do CTR. And that's like the first go-to. And I'm like, have you even done technical SEO? Have you even done the content? Have you even done the GMB optimization? No. And yet you want to do CTR. Give me a break. Do all the basics first. Do the basics, and I guarantee you'll start rising. Like, do the basics, and then I say, okay, do the G Stack, Cloud Stack, then do the advanced stack if you want. And I don't even have to do that shit. Just do all the basic stuff, on page SEO, content, and then do my advanced schema, and that thing is going to skyrocket. Start doing GMB posts, start doing press releases. Don't even fucking backlinks in CTR for right now. Let's see here. All right. I'm confused when you say Google Search Console. That's to me where I go to find out how my site is done in the last month. So Google Search Console tells you a bunch of data, and the data it's going to tell me on a website will tell me exactly what I need to know. Like, for instance, a lot of people want to go use a tool called SEMrush or Ahrefs or whatever, which is cool. That's fine. Trust me, it's fine. You can use it, but they have their own algorithm. They have their own data. Okay. They pull their own data and make their own judgments on stuff. This is not Google saying, hey, this keyword is much harder to rank for. This is them saying this keyword is much harder to rank for. Okay, so I don't go by that. I go by, okay, if I go into my Google Search Console and this is what it will look like, you know, let's say over the past, 12 months, this is a good little client I have of mine. All right, blue, 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 blue. No CTR even done on this thing yet. The guy's got over 1 million impressions, 30,000 clicks on it, almost over 1 million views. And then I can go into, for instance, you can go into your performance and we see how many performance in the last 3 months. You know, this is where people usually will go to do sitemaps or have things removed, see what the page experience is, the core vitals, mobile usability, if you have any issues, right? And this is where all of it would be showing up at, right? And this right here is where I spend most of my time at. And if you go under performance, it's going to show you the keywords, right? How many times was this keyword seen? How many impressions? How many clicks? And this information is what I need to do my CTR manipulation, right? And so I think that's what you're talking about. But for instance, it will show me how many clicks am I getting? And this tells me, for instance, right, this is what people are using to find my site. So what do I need to do? I take this information and I go, okay, TMS success rate. Well, people are interested in finding out what's the success rate of TMS. So I need to write content based upon that. TMS contradictions. People are interested in that. Let me write about that. What is accelerated TMS? Let me write about that. This gives me buyer intent and not just a keyword and saying, hey, it's, you know, really hard to rank for. It's going to be difficult. Let's choose the low-hanging fruit. Let's go to Google Search Console and see what Google Search Console is telling us. So that's what I'm saying when I say use Google Search Console. People a lot of times want to use every other tool under the book and they want to pay for it, but they don't want to use the very basics of what's there. Okay.
Right. William, this is Delana. I'm the one who asked that question. And so I get that when you have a site that's been around for a while, however, when you're starting a new site.
When if you looked at that post in which I stated, I said, I use only those tools for brand new sites. Brad said brand new sites. I use those tools. And I said, okay, if I want to write about sod, what's all the keywords? What's all the suggested questions? What's all the other searches? And I use that information to structure my site. But then once I've built it, I don't ever go back to it and use it again.
Got it.
I will base all my content off of Google Search Console. Let's see here. All right. Yep, I did say GMB Genius is glitchy, and I don't recommend any of them. I used to, but I would love to see someone outside of the creators actually show me it being used and not being glitchy. I would love to see. I mean, and I'm being honest, I'd love to see it because it takes forever to use them. It takes forever to actually create them by, if you will, hand and having a VA do it and manually doing it. Could you show how you made a press release with Conversion AI? I can show you a few of them if you'd like to see that. Let me go into Quantum Newswire and show you how we make them, because we're adding all of the media rooms to all of our clients. We haven't even added them all, it just came out. So let's see here. If I go to the report, let's go down here and go to the report. All right, this is a press release. So for instance, in our press releases, right, we have our main keyword with the location. We have a subheader. We have, if you will, the images. These images are from the GMB. These are actual GMB posts that are hot linked, has their logo, has their, their area. This is a SOB area business, so it has their phone numbers and their email address. All right, then we have backlinks, and then this is another hot linked image from the GMB. Then we put buttons for call to actions. Button for call to actions. Then of course it has our map embed in here, and most of our articles are going to be about 1,500 words of content. I mean, I always want to stack them, relate to the past press release if they have one. I want to hot link my images, and then I want to link back to some of my pages on my blog. And then also our CTAs are call to actions or buttons that pop out. I'm wanting to get them from that press release to my website. Best copywriter on the web, yep, is Jarvis. Also, how do you check the score if you do it with Surfer? I don't. I'm one of those people that don't. For instance, I mean, here's the thing with Surfer, and I'm not against it. So don't even think I'm against it. Surfer, you pull it into Surfer. Surfer's really good for writing, let's say 3,000 words of content. For the most part, Surfer is going to say, you're going to pull your article in, and I'll do another class in which we go over just Surfer and just Conversion AI. So you see both of them. But once we do the article, you pull it into Surfer. Surfer's going to tell you, well, most people that are ranking for this specific keyword just saw it installation, not local. Just saw it installation, have this many headers, have this many keywords, have this many backlinks and everything else. And they want you to incorporate all that into it. I've ranked sites without doing any of that. I just believe you just need to write good content with questions and other things that Google is showing you. And generally you're going to rank. You can use Conversion AI and it will help you. For the most part, Conversion AI is telling you what, in my humble opinion, what you should already know as an SEO. If you don't know SEO and you haven't been doing it for that long, then yes, go get Surfer. Surfer's going to tell you, what to do, what not to do. And I'll show you in another class, we'll go through specifically Conversion AI and take it and put it into Surfer. Surfer's a lot like Yoast. How many of y'all have used Yoast? I mean, just raise your hand. Raise your hand. So if you've used Yoast, Yoast has a score: red, orange, yellow, green, right? And the better your SEO on page is, it goes from red to green. That's all Surfer is. The better your article it gets, it goes from red to green. That's it. You just do what Surfer tells you to do, and your article comes out better, and then you take that article and post it on your website or blog. But we'll go through that in a separate class. And yes, I mean, I use it, but not as much as most people would. Since you're in Conversion AI, could you answer a few reviews? Yes, you use it to answer reviews. There is a tool in there, and we'll go through Conversion AI, but it's called Review Responder, and you can use it. You just copy and I've went over this before, you copy the person's name that left the review, copy the review in there, what type of answer you want it to be, professional, and then he spits out a review response for you. Yes, Abe, there are deep dive tutorials for Conversion AI. Next week, all I'm going to be doing is Conversion AI. On Monday, I'll do Conversion AI. And then on Wednesday, Brett and Mike Merlino are probably going to be talking about CTR. Then Friday, let's talk about I'll probably talk about conversion AI again. No, I actually do recommend Link Daddy. I use Link Daddy all the time. It's just I think people need to do the basics. The first solution, most people, I mean, just no offense to anybody, but what people do is they go, hey, well, I have a website and I don't like SEO because it sucks because I went on to Fiverr or I bought some backlinks from some guy online or some guy in some other country and now my rankings tanked. Well, guess what? Let me look at your site. Your technical SEO sucks. Your URL structure sucks. You ain't got no good siloing. You don't have your GMB post done. You don't have the basics. Yet we're talking about backlinks. Yet we're talking about CTR. The problem with most people is they don't do the basics. So I would recommend Link Daddy after you get all the basics. I won't even touch Link Daddy until I get all my basics done and then I get my advanced schema done. My advanced schema alone can get you ranking. There are plenty of people on, if you look in the group or you look on my timeline, that post all the time about they started doing schema in just the posts that I recommend and following what I tell them to do. And I'll show you one where, like, for instance, this one right here, this is just by doing the post and the schema. Okay. So when I say don't try to do anything, crazy, just do the basics, this is why. It's not I'm pulling stuff out of a, magic hat and saying, hey, we'll do this and this for you and we'll get you ranked with a magic blue pill, but you ain't got all the other crap done. Could you talk a little bit about most risky things that change on a GMB? Right now, I just changed, I believe I worked on about 72 weeks ago, changing the business titles and not one suspension. Not one. I go this past week and we're editing the website URLs and 5 suspensions. So I don't know what they're up to right now because usually a title is how people get suspended. But I have a very specific way when I change a title or when I add a title. Let's say it was called, let's call it John the Plumber. And John the Plumber, I want to add St. Louis to it. So I would actually go, John the Plumber, St. Louis. And then I hit, once I do the edit, I don't move, I don't touch the mouse, and I hit Control F5 until I see it go from under review to no longer under review, and it approves it. I don't scroll. I just hit Control F5 until it approves it. Now, changing the URL structure, changing the URL, we went to do that and instant suspension. So I don't know what to tell you because of the sheer fact that used to it'd be if you try to change a business title, you get suspended. So that's usually the most risky thing is changing the address, the title, the phone number, not changing the website link. So Photoshop your bill. Yep, you can Photoshop your bill. Link Daddy and backlinks have a time and place, correct? And that's what I'm saying. Everything has a time and place. It just usually most people want to go straight to one specific thing like CTR because they heard it's awesome. Yes, it's awesome, but I call it the Gatling gun. You don't want to bring out the bazooka or the Gatling gun when all you need is a little 21. You mean you changed the, yes, I changed the root URL. I went to change on the GMB instead of it being, let's call it domain.com. I changed it to domain.com/plumber. Instant went into not re-verification, but suspension, which is okay because I got it right back out. Just have a DBA days old to fix their, yes, as long as you got a DBA, usually you're good to go. Surfer and Pop Optimizer, I would be Surfer. And we'll go over Surfer and Conversion AI as well next week on Monday when we go live with this website. Correct. about the domain name. How much content do you include in your SEO packages? We no longer do the $350 with all the content. We don't write the content. Okay, so the content's provided by yourself. If you don't provide the content, I charge $50 per 500 words. So you have to provide the images, the content, all that stuff. What do we do about DBAs in other countries? I honestly don't live in another country besides, obviously, I live in the Philippines, and I just go and get a business license. And you can get a fictitious name registration just like you can in the States over here. So I don't know about, let's say, Pakistan, India, or Australia, or Canada. I don't know about that. You have something we like to call Google, and I would Google my business license and see if I can find a DBA or what's the equivalent of it. Should we use service area for more coverage even if we don't visit customer sites? No, I don't do that. If you want to cover more area, get more GMBs. Get more GMBs, cover more area. Service area businesses are much harder to rank, in my humble opinion. I do them, but they're harder to rank. The easiest way to get anything ranked is multiple GMBs. And yes, there are ways to get them, with postcard verification or backdoor methods. How can we verify GMB in London without being there? Pay someone. You pay someone. Go on Facebook, find someone in London, or find someone that's in college there. Find someone that wants some beer money and pay them. Craigslist, I don't know. Is Craigslist in London? And I'm pretty sure it probably is. I don't know for a fact. Is Facebook there? Do they have groups? Yes. You just got to think outside the box. All right. One of my clients sent a website who provided cleaning services. Website structures like for each area, a separate page. You'd have to email that to me and I'll take a look at it. Should we take a service area business and make it a storefront? Once again, service area business. Best thing is actual addresses with multiple GMBs. Actual addresses with multiple GMBs. Actual addresses with multiple GMBs. Okay, cleaning in city to cleaning in city 3. Yep, it's not a bad approach. I've actually, when I used to do moving, I had one in, let's say, Broward, and another one, we would go moving from Florida, or let's say a certain city, Florida to Georgia, moving from Georgia to Colorado, moving from Georgia to Texas. And we would each have pages for every one of those. And we would write our blogs and press releases the same way. Kevin, I'm not charging for all that content on the sod guy because he's the guy that won my free SEO. So he's getting, $2,000 worth of just, I built him a site, I did the content, and I'm getting him ranked. And personally, I think it's probably going to take me about a month to get the guy ranked. So as soon as we get this guy ranked, we'll wind up doing another one. But CTR is the last thing, like sprinkles on a cake. Correct. Can we have a list of A to Z step by step? Yes, you already have it. It's underneath the GMB class. It's in the back. I have the whole spreadsheet. If you don't see the spreadsheet, put it in the group and say, hey, I want this spreadsheet that has step by step, and I will drop it in there for you guys because it is definitely in the back end, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I went over this. One of the very first things I went over in class was this little handy dandy spreadsheet right here, where I go over, this is just your website SEO. Then this is the GMB audit. This is your business information. This is your GMB audit checklist. This is your GMB audit checklist, your name, address, phone number, your website audit, the whole thing. I use the GMB Crush audits, contact Google support. Here's the readdressal form. Here's the GMB categories, all of it. Okay. Let's see, going back through some of these questions. Oh, let's see. Man, so many questions. There we go. So A to Z, it's there. If you don't have it, let me know in the group. If you don't have it, let me know in the group and I will drop it in the group. What's the best way to go about multiple location GMBs? Buy them. Separate email, separate phone number, separate website, separate location pages, separate GMBs, separate content, separate GMB posts, everything separately. Okay. 20 to 30,000 words of content at minimum. We write 6.5 million a week. If you were to see my conversion AI, it's ridiculous. And I've talked to Dave about it, said it's not, we're not using no automation, zero automation. This is all just my VAs doing it, you know? So, and because a lot of people think it's, you know, well, I'm doing automation with it. No, it's zero automation. And in a day, we'll write almost 300,000 words in a day.
That'll make me cross-eyed.
If you look at like July 1st, I wrote 30,000 words of content. July 2nd, we wrote 218,000 words. Today, we've already wrote 209,000. So we're writing about 300,000 a day. Especially the IP postcard requester, doesn't matter. It's Google filtering IPs. I don't believe so. Should I cancel my Href subscription? Seems like you don't use, I use Hrefs and I use SEMrush when I'm first building out a website. I don't use it for competitive research. No, I don't. I don't think it's useful. Not for that. I use other tools. I have one other tool that I use to look at what someone's ranking for. SpyFu's a good one. And then I have link-assistant.com that I use. Location. So my steps. So Shabazz is asking me about location pages. First step, if they have a website, it's going to be fixing their on page. After I fix their on page, I do a content audit. Then I always going to wind up making content because most people's content sucks. Just being honest. Then after I do content, then I get into, okay, do they have location pages? Then I do my location pages. Then I say, do you have an IFTT ring or if this, then that ring? Then I say, do you have a G-stack? And even this might be changing, G-stack method. I might take that out. Then do they have cloud stacks? And then I go advanced schema. And then and only then do I start going, for instance, CTR and all that other stuff. That takes about 3 months. Right there is about 3 months worth of SEO. Will is Surfer. I mean, pretty much Surfer and like Yoast was made for people that don't have an SEO background. When you got 20 years, it's like I can read through stuff or see stuff and I say what's wrong. Here's an example of one of our quantum medium rooms. This is from Mr. George. So a quantum medium room will pull everything, if you will, for your press releases. And then it winds up looking like this on your website. Right. And then if you were to click on one of the press releases, this is what the press release looks like once it's pulled into your website. The point is you're pulling all those signals for GMB into your website and not pushing them just simply to Facebook or Twitter, you know, wherever else you're trying, you know, you're trying to push them. You're trying to bring people onto your platform and not someone else's platform. What's my opinion about Market Muse? I've never heard of it. I don't use it. Review Responder's great on Conversion AI. I don't use Phrase. I don't use Postpace. I'm at Postpace. I've never have. Link Daddy's great. It just has its appropriate place. You don't go straight to Link Daddy. If we use Conversion AI for content, would you still need Link Daddy afterwards? Yes. You just have to, you need a baseline report. When I first take on a client, I want to see what their rankings are. Are they ranking on organic, mobile, desktop, Yahoo, Bing, Maps? I want to see it all. And then I measure every month, 30 days from now, how much did we move up? 10%, good. Next month, 14%, good. The third month, we're down to 5% movement. I probably need to throw in some CTR. That's what I look at, right? And then, you know, Bright Local. No, I don't. I don't ever use Bright Local. Do the basics. That's right. There used to be a song in church that says, we need to get back to the basics of life. It's in the choir. You know, that's what y'all need to do. Everybody needs to get back to the basics. They're trying about CTR and all this other craziness. And it's like, y'all got to do the basics. And then we'll talk about CTR later. Bright Local. No, I have VAs. You know, I have in my house, I have 30 something VAs and we do it all manually. I don't like giving control over to some other entity, just like Vidnami just sold out to GoDaddy. And then you have no control over it. And then, you know, so I'd rather have control over it. I have VAs that do it. I have a spreadsheet, says here's where the citation's at. Here's the username, password. Here's all the information. And if my citations ever change, I can go in there and I can change them. All right. Delaney asks, when we use the GMB categories to set up our websites, can we still list as many services as we want? No. No. I've already said this. I'm going to say it again. No. When you go to Plepper and it says that, for instance, and I'll show you this again so we can drive this home. In Plepper, let's choose a category. We go under GMB.
Can we use the category of sewer plumber? I mean, I know it's going to be plumber, but it's sewer.
I'll show you exactly what you can use.
Thank you.
Okay. So whenever you go to plumber, and I want to see what other related categories go with plumber, this is what I'm going to use. Heating contractor, electrician, HVAC, and bathroom remodeler, right? You can use drainage service, right? But you only want to use a maximum of 3 to 4 other ones outside of your main category. Don't go in there and be like, well, I do 20 things. Well, when you're not ranking, call me later, because you need to hone in on 3 to 4 categories. I just went over this. Atif, I did a review for him. I think y'all had, and his is more like an e-commerce or service type business, almost like a directory. But the thing is, you need to hone in on 3 to 4, because, for example, if I was a plumber and I say, yeah, we also do gas engineering. Well, not that many people even use that category. It's like 3% versus 11%. So I want to stay with the top 3 or 4. Now, if I was doing gas engineering, I can look at, well, what should be going with gas engineering? You know, boiler and different gas fitter and gas company. You know, you want to stick with this.
I got that. Yet he's doing sewer line repair. So he's a plumber who's doing sewer line repair. You know, that's his niche in there. So
then if he wants to do sewer line repair, then I would suggest him write a whole website about sewer line repair and all his content based upon sewer line repair.
Okay.
And let me see, you know, I'll show you. If there's a category, I use the category. If not, then I don't. And I choose the best next thing to it that I can. But what I will never do is go, okay, well, I do plumbing and then I'll do some crazy, you know. So like this, okay? If he was going to concentrate on sewing or sewer, see, there's nothing. No, there's no, you got sewage disposal, sewage treatment, and that's it.
Hey, one suggestion, a lot of sewer guys that are doing sewer repairs, they will also target excavating because they have to excavate or trench in order to get access to the pipe.
And then you can do excavating contractor. Yeah, and he tells you, like, he's talking about excavating contractor. Here's the other categories that go with that. See, and that's why I would personally would not do the excavation on that website, because it's all about concrete contractor, demolition, construction, paving, general, landscaper, asphalt, plumber being the one way down here. Okay. With if I'm a plumber and I'm doing with pipes and stuff like that, I'm going to do this. So I would do plumber and then I would do drainage service. Right? Drainage, because that's what you're fixing when it's a sewer. When it's sewer, I'm fixing the drainage.
Okay.
So plumber, it would be sewage. If my number one thing he's going after, the whole website would be built around sewage and fixing sewage pipes and stuff like that. And then the secondary ones would be plumber, heating, septic service. See, if I was specifically going after drainage, I would stick with plumber, septic, sewage disposal, and make the whole website about that, not anything else. If you have for instance, if I'm a plumber and also do heating, do a separate website about heating,
Okay.
and do separate posts and separate everything that way. I'm going to answer a couple of more and then we're done. Okay. If I did not get to your questions, I apologize. And then you can ask them in the group. And you know me, I do freaking, Q&As all the time live, and I'll go through them and I'll answer them on another time. Bright local note. Have been using F5 for GMB changes too? Yep. And it works. Correct. On page and content and GMB SEO optimization is the basics. Then I start doing my press releases, my blogs, my location pages, all that stuff. Will is like Neo from the Matrix. Well, CTR heard if done too early. Absolutely. I've seen people crash their entire, map rankings with CTR because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Let's see. Apart from postcards, how do you claim listings? I'll go on that on another class because that's a whole nother 2 hours probably just to talk about that. How can we win your free SEO? Well, I'll answer that last one. Whenever I first start these classes, I go take a guess numbers 0 through 300. Whoever gets it close wins. And then I do SEO for that person for that specific course. Like once we're done with this course, I'm going to pick a niche. I'm going to make basically a poll and say, which one do you want to see me do in the spammy industry? Is it tower, locksmith, personal injury, addiction, or some form of attorney? And whoever gets the most votes, then I'm going to wind up doing that specific niche for the next class. And then I'll do once again, another free giveaway as far as SEO and getting someone ranked. So if you have any further questions and we did not answer them, ask them. Make sure to go into the back end of the group and ask them under Google My Business Reloaded. Google My Business Reloaded, and I will ask them. If you want my latest ebook, ask for it in the group as well, and I will drop it to you as well. All right, guys, I need to get off here, and I will see you again once I get a few minutes. I'll have this uploaded as a replay on the back end of the course. Once again, if you have any questions, post them in the group, and I'll be sure to get a hold of them, and I will see you guys on Monday.